Okay, so this is a pretty random video. I had some really like detailed dreams last night about having children, and it was also something I was thinking about during the day. And so I wrote down a list of circumstances that I would like to be in place before I ever have children. Now, being the kind of person I am, having a kid by mistake, it won't happen for me. And I guess I sound kind of proud or self-righteous saying that, but me being kind of a lesbian and also a control freak, I just expect that kind of stuff not to go that way for me. So this is under the illusion that I have any control at all. So yeah, so firstly, I wouldn't want any other people to be the primary caretaker of my kids, meaning that I wouldn't want to leave someone else to care for them during the day while I went and did work. I would want my work to be closely tied in with the schedules of my kids, and like, anyway, I just would want to be the primary caretaker. I can't imagine leaving them with someone else to be with my kids and raise my kids and give them everything they need. Wow, allergies. Okay. Seems to be a theme in these videos, is me itching the shit out of my nose. Ugh. And then there's like, I see women that spend a lot of time with their kids. And it's kind of like weird that now that I'm noticing this, I'm like, well, I want to be the primary caregiver to my kids, but I also don't want to spend that much time with them. By that I mean, I want my kids to have lives of their own. But I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I want my kids to be active and involved with people other than myself. Mostly that would be ideal. I would want them active and involved with people other than myself. Involved in programs with neighbors, family. You know, I'd be like that mom that would be like, okay, well, you're gonna go play outside now and you're not allowed back in the house. Which is actually how my parents were raised, and how, you know, it was like mentioned when I was a kid, but no real threat. But yeah, I wouldn't want to feel trapped with them all the time. It's not like I wouldn't spend any time with them. Obviously, spending time with my kids would be a huge priority. Being involved with their life would be a huge priority. And also, here's another thing. Me being kind of gayish, lesbianish, or whatever, queer, you know, if I were to keep that title, I don't know. Who cares? Who cares who I'm dating, you know? But if I did have kids, I wouldn't want to raise them in an environment without a man. And I know there's like tons of couples around the world that raise kids without having a man in the house, but for me, I would want the contrast of both energies in the house. And like, this is like so controversial, but this is my personal preference. And if I somehow ended up with a kid and I happen to be dating a woman, you know, I'd be fine with that too. But this is like the ideal circumstance. So my ideal circumstance for having kids would be them either seeing their father really, really often, and me having had sex or somehow gotten the sperm in my body to produce these children, would be from that same man. Yeah. And before I had kids, if I did, I would want to have a life that I already liked. You know, like, I would want to have accomplished something already. like a life that I already liked, if that makes any sense. Or I guess just a job that I already liked. I'd want to like myself before I had kids. And along with that comes, I want to be happy about my home before I have kids. I didn't really move a lot as a kid. I think as a family we moved a few times. It wasn't a big deal, but I really do admire people who have grown up in one house, because it really, I don't know, I think it's beautiful, because as the house changes, you will change and flourish in that area, and the familiarity is important. So I would want to be happy about my home, before having kids. Or happy about the area. For me, that means buying some land. A couple acres of land. So, because sometimes I think, oh, I really want kids. Oh shit, now I gotta go find me a man. So I know what I don't want is to make kids. How does that say? I don't want to find a man just to have kids, you know? If I were to find a partner to have children with, I would just want to find a partner. And along with the partnership would come a lot of things I would want in a partnership before having kids. So basically what I wrote was, I want freedom of having a partnership, which kids are a byproduct of, not like the other way around. So sharing fundamental values with a partner is pretty important. You know, if we agree on work, health, hey, chill. Like, chill out, dude. Yeah, pretty much work and health and probably some other stuff. As long as we share the same fundamental values, everything will be okay. Because then we would be consistent about priorities. And I would want that partner to have pretty much the same lifestyle as I do. Also for the sake of consistency, but also for the sake of a good partnership. And something about this partner is that I don't want to be completely the same as your partner. You see partners or couples sometimes, and it seems like they are kind of just the same person, but just in two different bodies. You know, that kind of makes me uncomfortable. It feels like we should be wearing matching jumpsuits or something. I don't know, but for some, and that was just like side joke. I mean, just me being funny, but I would prefer a partnership where the contrasts kind of complement each other, where a partnership helps bring out more unique qualities and helps form identities. Hi, Lee. Are you Lee? You are Lee. Yes, you are. Hi. You want to go poop, don't you? Alright, give me a minute. And with any partnership, you know, I don't want to feel above or below them. You know, I don't want to feel like I do too much or they do too much, or I am supplementing anything for them or they are supplementing anything for me. You know, I would want it to be a pretty solid friendship. You know, I would prefer more of a friendship than a partnership, and I kind of have felt like this about partnerships since I decided to be an adult. You know, I don't need sex. I think sex is great, but and it's like one of those things that you do every so often. It just makes you feel good. I don't know. Anyway, sex is not a huge deal. I love it, and it makes me feel fantastically close with the person, but it's not even going to happen if the relationship doesn't exist in the first place. So yeah, those are just what I came up shortly yesterday. So having these things before I have kids. Oh, and the last thing that I wanted to happen is that I wanted to have kids before my parents had kids. And I think my mom had me when she was 32, and I would want to have kids at least when I'm 31 or so. 29 to 31, somewhere in that gap, my dream was to have 4 kids, but honestly, any number of kids, any number, would be so cool. So if that doesn't happen, if I don't, that my goal here, like, it turns out, if, typically, that is the phases of what our lives are supposed to be. We are born, we are raised, we go to middle school, we have all the puberty experiences, we learn to drive, we go to high school, we graduate, we go to college, we graduate, we begin a job, we buy a house, we get a partner, we get married, we have kids. And I know this definitely was not the order that happened for me, but I mean, most of it. But, I wasn't prepared this time for the step that I was ready to take. And I feel like I had to scramble to get everything ready and complete. Everyone I knew was taking the right step. And I know this is a product of being, this is a result of being in the 20s, as you feel like everyone's like doing everything better than you. But in my case, it really was. I wasn't doing anything, literally, and then I realized that I really wanted to be doing something, and the change happened in a very short period of time. And so next time I want to take the next step into adulthood, and you know what? The people I grew up with, I had a really small class in middle school. In my 8th grade class, there was only 14 kids that graduated with me, and I think at least six of the girls that was in my class right now already have kids. So that freaks me out a little bit. And I'm not saying I'm like trying to keep up with the Joneses here or anything, but I like to be prepared. And these goals aren't bad to have, being happy with my life, being happy with my partner, having my own land. Nothing wrong with having those goals, and you know what? And having these goals accomplished before I pass the age of 31, I think is really good. I guess 30. Accomplishing these things before I'm 30 would be pretty ideal. So I'm basing these goals based on what I might want to accomplish, because it's pretty much a mystery at this point if that kind of shit will ever happen to me. But it's good to lay down roots, if I ever want to travel, if I want to do anything weird like that, if I ever want to live in a commune or live in my van, live in an RV. I don't think there's anything wrong with setting down roots, and having land would be so cool. Having something that's mine, paying off a piece of land, that would be amazing. Anyway, so that is the basis of how I make my goals, and how I know which direction I'm going in, even though they're based on stereotypes. It's good to be prepared, and it makes me look like less of an imbecile if anyone ever asks me what I'm doing with my life. What am I doing after age of 30? That's a good question, sir. That is a good question. I don't have any clue. Like, do people even live past their 30s? I don't even know. But there is I probably will. So I guess I better get on thinking about that. Anyway, I had some amazing dry jackfruit. Is like this, like freeze-dried jackfruit, and like I'm having some tea. I'm gonna have some figs, and I'm gonna run and walk my dog this morning. So Have a really good day, and peace be with you.